All right, so welcome everybody. Good to see those faces that are out there. If you join us later on the recorded version, welcome. Glad that you're here. I was gonna say good to see you, but I can't see you even through the magic of Zoom. So week 3 seminar for EDUC 5020. Tony Pellegrini is going to lead the charge today, and the time is his.
We sure appreciate having you here today. Carol and Clint and I, at least the three of us, maybe more, were in a meeting this morning looking to the future for the EdTech endorsement and working to make it competency-based. We are entering a brave new world, friends. We've known that for the last couple of years with everything that's gone on in education, but I think today's topic is so timely. Being connected, staying connected, understanding where we're going and what we can do individually and collectively to get there as a connected group of teachers and educators and EdTech passionistas, I think is a great thing. Let me share my screen with you, and I'm going to take you through our class. Hopefully you can do the same. If you'll come down here to week 3, developing a connected learning model. And I'm just going to start here with a seminar. If I can, I'm just going to go ahead and I am going to view in the Google Slides here. It's a little bit easier for me. And so, shoot, give me just a second. Let me try. They're both view only. Give me just a moment because I'm going to want to click on them just a little bit. So give me just a second. Let me see if I can get this one will be any better. Maybe it won't. We'll just go through and if you can't click on it, you'll have to click on it later on your own. So just to start with a quote, challenges are what makes life interesting. We have had a very interesting life the last few years. The old Chinese proverb, "May we live in interesting times." We certainly do. But overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. Keep working on them. If you're faced with a problem or a challenge or a situation, don't give up. Endure to the end, keep moving forward, and we're going to make it together. I just wanted to pause here for a moment. Questions and concerns at all from week 1 or week 2. I'd sure be open to listening to those. We'd sure like to get those addressed. I don't have to answer them all. Anyone can jump in to ask and answer as well. So let me pause for a second.
Just a comment or request,
please.
Maybe. And I mentioned this to a couple people. If you are going to do video and you are still, citing sources, just include that in a separate submission, like a text entry, or it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just share with us where your information came from.
I'm so grateful you shared that. Another idea came to my mind. It was more the first couple of weeks with a lot of writing, a lot of Google Documents, and I love Google Documents, but just remember to share them, make them shareable and available, because a lot of time, it just takes more time to put in, hey, it's giving me this error. Would you please update this? I promise to update your grade. But if you can do it the first time, it saves that little back and forth. And in our world today, every little moment counts. So just a couple of things there.
Yeah,
Any others?
Don't need full editing rights, but if you choose, instead of just viewer, choose suggesting, and that way we can put comments right on the doc. Saves us some time.
It really does. We'd love to have that. Week 3 assignments, 3 things that we're going to be working on. First, read chapter 2 of developing the connected educator. Let me just give you a copy here. I know that some of my learners, at least, have had a challenge with, give me just a moment to stop sharing. Well, let me see if I can put it in the chat here. I'm going to put a link in the chat just to chapter 2. If you haven't got your book yet and you need a digital copy, this is just for chapter 2, but I'd like to make sure that you at least have access to chapter 2 to get that read this week. There is going to be, because it's going to be very helpful for you as you post your discussion, your video reflection, or enhanced discussion by this Sunday. So please make sure you at least skim through chapter 2. It'll help you with your discussion post. And I really do like those videos and appreciate going that extra mile. But again, if you want to type those in, I think that's wonderful. And then if you work on something that's a little bit different, that would be fine too. Yes, it is just a chapter 2 only, sorry. And then finally, future ready framework, use of space and time. We're going to talk about those 4 principles that you'll be addressing within your future ready framework. Use some time this week. So from chapter 2, think for a moment. We've all been teachers for a little while. I'd like you to think, or to, in your mind, consider, what does traditional professional development, or professional learning and development look like to you? What's it like? What's it been like in the classroom? And I think of this on the little meme over here on the left-hand side. When I die, I hope it's during professional development, because the transition from life to death would be so subtle. A little too close to the truth, particularly for the last 30 years. Or, and this is a little too close to the truth as well too, professional development before, what's a PD? I want one. Thank you, Will Ferrell. And then, and I apologize, I don't know this actor's name. After professional development, I have just sucked 1 hour of your life. Tell me, how do you feel? It doesn't make us excited or enthusiastic about professional development. So I'm sticking my neck out here. If you will click on this, click here, you're going to see the live results of these questions. What is professional development or professional learning or development look like? What does it look like to you? I would love to have you click on this, click on menti.com and use this, copy this code and put it
In the chat.
Thank you so much. It's right in the chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And then we're going to take a peek here and see what you're thinking, okay? I would love to see, you got to type something. It doesn't have to be a whole sentence. Just be a word or two. I don't even make you unmute. Come on, you can do this. I hope you can. I hope I said, yay! Ooh, ouch, absolutely. One size doesn't fit all. It sure doesn't. And the more we can personalize that and make it unique to what you need, you're going to see lots of sitting. Yes. Sage on the stage, book study. And book study can be fun. I like those. Lectures, sleeping never pertains to me. Well, if it's from me, we try to be as active. I appreciate that. That is wonderful. I love that, hands-on and active. Long classes, teacher-student lecture, 100% Shanda. Matt, now you gotta unmute and oh, you're on board 100% with Shanda.
Yeah, agreed. A lot of sitting. I remember my traditional PD. It was like, come in, sit down in a chair. We're going to talk to you for 2 to 3 hours.
Oh my goodness. I've got to share with you. And we're doing the same, I guess, with distance education, sitting here in front of our computers. I will send to everyone. It just came to me. I love this little tool a person's created, a little mouse wheel where you can have the computer in it and walk while you're walking on the mouse wheel. I'll send you a copy of that after. That is absolutely, you're absolutely right. What traditional professional development looks like. Now, what does traditional teacher networks? You've networked, you visit with your teacher next door, you network with teachers. Traditionally, how have we networked or connected with teachers? Can you go to this particular link here? And then it's a thank you, Clint. And then here's the number to go to and to come into that. And let's just take a peek and see some of the things. What does traditional professional or teacher network in the building? One teacher to others within the school or district. Okay, great. You can. That's absolutely. You can make it across district or across the school. Setting that classroom together. Okay. Maybe sometimes you can even take them to lunch sometime. Ongoing collaboration. Thank you. One person talking, and I'm trying to get away from that a little bit. I'm letting you text in here. I'm letting you type in a little bit. Two, good. Complaining about the students and the faculty lounge. Oh, ouch, yes. At least you're not complaining about the principal. That's good. Well, those are some of the components that I did want to share with you in regards to, in particular, teachers and being connected. But we're living in a brave new world. We're living in a little bit different world than even 5 years ago. And so, from the text, the new model of professional development really should transform the teacher's traditional network by building a community offline and online, and using technologies to build a personal learning network and global communities of inquiry. Even if you're one little teacher out in a rural school, you meet to meet the new model for professional development, we have to have connected learning communities. And that's what we're doing that right now. We are across the state connecting with one another. Typically in the past, we had curriculum documents, we had colleagues, popular media, print and digital, or family and local community we connected with. And now we connect in so many different ways to be connected. And so what we hope that we're doing for you is encouraging you and engaging you to participate and collaborate and connect even beyond your classroom or your district walls. Our connected learning communities are really a three-pronged approach. There's a community of practice or inquiry. If we're practicing something, we're trying something out, we want to see how others who are doing similar activities are doing, and we want to reach out and share through that community of practice what we're doing. We're connecting through personal learning networks. We set those up. We may go to a conference. We may go to a district meeting and meet someone across the district that we'd like to connect with. We may be in an ed tech class like this that we connect with someone. And I'd like to know more about what you're doing with that, or how that's working for you and how it could work for me. And then we could establish those and move those more firmly into professional learning communities. And that's where we would, again, form a community around a particular topic or item that we're interested in, and move forward with learning about that particular topic. Today, this morning, Rick Aceford is having us work some technology. I'm going to use it again, Passionistas, who are working on the new standards, competencies. And I'm in the activities number 1, and the work that we're doing to look at the wide breadth and variety of technologies and approaches that are out there to be used and engaged with is just mind-boggling to this old mind. And we'll go over some of those more specifically a little bit later, or in our presentation here tonight. Hopefully, your teacher. We've shared with you how to look up people in your Canvas class and know who your teacher is. Don't hesitate to reach out, please. If you have something you'd like to try or approach you'd like to use, please make sure that you reach out to your instructor. One of the components from the chapter this week that brings up is the use of Twitter. And some may still be not necessarily uncomfortable, but just not be using Twitter as much as possible. So what I've done is put a bunch of links in here. Let me not skip ahead, please. So as you click on these links, you can go to these particular pages to find out some great Twitter accounts to use to be able to connect with and to use Twitter to stay connected with your professional learning network or your professional learning community. Using Twitter is a way to do that. And so you can, you can go through each of those to find one of those that you'd like to use, which really leads us to our discussion 3 this week, developing a connected learning model. Our schools need to change. We've seen that again. We've been forced that's been forced on us over the last couple of years. We need to make some change and adaptation. Maybe we need to change back a little. That's okay. But not just teachers, but parents and students are very, I think, they're anxious to continue some of the approaches that we had to set up in order to address COVID and the challenges that we had there. So we need to make classrooms a place that is tailored to a way that our learners can learn. Can we accomplish that through collaboration and community? Absolutely. Do you believe that it's to remain effective for today's learner, we must change the way we teach, the way we learn, the way we communicate, the way we provide for deep time or deep conversation and reflection? Why or why not? And if so, how? And so please refer to information in the chapter. Share your post or video or enhanced response by Sunday night, and 2 others by next Wednesday. So this is tightly connected with what we are sharing tonight. And so as you look at your discussion post, look back to your reading. Again, your first one by Sunday night. And this is what I was referring to just a few minutes ago when I talked about the great technologies that are out there that you can put into practice and to engage with others through these in your discussion postings. All of these are powerful. I've used most of them myself. Please use one of these to post your response to discussion. But again, as you respond to a peer, it's not something that you have to use a thing link to respond to someone else. You can just respond to them with text. Let's see, Matt, do you want to take a second here about last night's tweet? Can you take a moment and just share with us there your perspective on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Utah Ed Chat is every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Next week is our last week for the year, for the academic year. We'll be back in September. Kira Bettis, who works in Jordan School District, but then also is on the USEP board, has been doing an amazing job this year collecting all of the kind of highlight tweets from the community during that hour and putting them onto a Wakelet. So that link there that you see is a link to that Wakelet where you'll be able to see tweets from all sorts of people and all sorts of different thought processes that are going on. It's even if you're what we call online a lurker, which is a person who just comes and doesn't participate and looks it through and sees what's going on. That's fantastic. Just come and join. You just need to come to Twitter, put in the hashtag UTEdChat, and join us on Wednesday nights. I'm there most Wednesday nights. Clint's been there a few nights. Brandon's been there a few nights. Tony I haven't seen recently, or Carol I've seen recently, but I know you guys have been there before. So, but yeah, come join us. It's a very good time. And next week I think Kira's doing the Utah Ed Chat Twitter Awards, which I am up for several, which haunts my nightmares. Anyways.
You bring your statues, bring your awards next week, would you please, Matt? There you go. Just nobody could reach out to punch him out, though, please. Okay, be gentle with Matt. But I am so grateful first for the post in the chat, very powerful. But to hear people's voices, to hear you speak up, and to hear your passion, I really just love it for everyone who is participating. Can I take just a few moments here and talk to you a little about Sunday's assignment for Future Ready Framework, use of time and space? That is about the only thing that we have equality in. We have the same amount of time. We have the same amount of space with being able to publish whatever it is that we like as teachers. But I just wanted to touch base on these elements just really briefly here. Learning is flexible, anytime, anywhere. Yes, we meet. We know that we meet every Thursday at 4:00 for half an hour or so. But you are learning all week long as you have epiphanies here and there. As you get older, I'm just going to warn you right now, they come about 2 or 3 in the morning. They wake you up. You have to write them down and or get out. And to me, it happened this morning about 4. I had to get up, get a couple of things done. Luckily, I didn't wake my wife back up when I went back into bed, but I was able to get back to bed and get enough sleep today. But yes, I deal mostly with adult learners, but we really do have the accessibility through our phones, through our tablets and personal devices to learn and to share anytime and anywhere. And I'd love to hear what you're doing in your district, in your school, to make those things happen. 2, new pedagogy schedules, learning environment for personalized learning. I think that really is kind of the foundation of why our state Board of Education is doing so much with competency-based. We want our learners to be able to demonstrate those competencies, and they can demonstrate them in so many different ways. It really becomes a very idiosyncratic way of being able to demonstrate that learning, very individualized. And that's why we really are encouraging you and gently prodding you into discussion posts using a variety of different tools. Competency-based learning, I think we've addressed that already a little bit, but hopefully you're seeing this in our here at SUU, I think throughout all the programs in the state, the pre-service programs in the state. We are paying attention and trying to develop in our pre-service teachers activities that they can do to make sure that they are ready and preparing their learners, their K-12 learners in the future, to be able to demonstrate competencies in really hundreds of ways. It's really quite overwhelming, but it's a lot of fun to be able to have students demonstrate how they are learning individually. And then finally, strategies for providing extended time for projects and collaboration. Yes, your schools are open from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, but with technologies, that day is extended. If we can get parents and students excited and engaged and coming, not necessarily on Wednesday nights to our Twitter chats, but extending their learning beyond, a lot can be done to learn beyond. So I'm just very excited to be able to hear some of the things that you are participating or engaged in within your school district and within your class. So submitting a Google Doc with a link, please share them with us so we can get with the commenting rights. Clint can show you how, and we appreciate you doing that. Clint, do you mind taking a moment now and just showing? Are you comfortable with that?
I'm ready to go.
Here we go. We're going to turn it over to Clint.
Right, you unshare your screen. So
yep, I'm going to unshare. Let me stop sharing. There you go, sir. It's all yours.
And I will share this window. I hope. I will see how it goes.
It's coming through strong.
All right. So hopefully you're seeing that. I can't see my address bar because of the video. Again, cool trick, docs.new will bring up a new blank Google Doc in your account. And then, and I did mention this to a couple of my teachers. One of the, and let me put it in the chat. Sorry, or just hit send in the chat. When you're sharing your screen, it all gets weird. There we go. So a good source of information for you guys is going to be the digital teaching and learning grants. So HTTP, whoops, let me just copy it. Sorry. There we go. Are you guys seeing that? Or are you still seeing my doc?
Oh, we got it. Good job.
Okay. Yeah, so digital teaching and learning grant program for Utah. And to get to your district stuff, you can go to LEA profiles right there and then search LEAs by name. I've got a lot of Millard teachers. So I'll punch in Millard. It says you are a town for some reason. I don't know. Strange. But then your synopsis is there. You can view the grant right there. But let's say I wanted to use this as a source. And that's a quick refresher on what I showed you last week. So if I want to,
that was powerful stuff. You bet. Show us again.
Millard DTL grant. And hit the explore button down here. Just paste the link in there, hit return, and then I can hit, oops, sorry, hit that guy right there, bang. And it puts in the footnote for me. It says American Preparatory Academy for some reason, that's okay. And then to share it with us as commenting, share button up here on the top right. Oh, I got to name it for the, thank you, Google, for keeping me on track. And then down here, I keep moving my my video window. Get link, and then instead of, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to put in my teacher's name there. So let's say it's Matt, and I want to make him a commenter. He doesn't really, we don't really need full editing rights, but commenting will allow us to, like I said, just drop comments right into to the document. And then when you hit send or just copy the link and submit that in Canvas, that's all we need. So
is very helpful, and it'll save you time, it'll save us time as well too, to do other things that we're excited about. Clint, thank you so much. Give me just a couple more minutes, friends, here to, or not very many questions on weeks 1 and 2. Help me out. Questions on week 3, but with things that we've talked about today.
nothing in the chat.
Question or
Thank you.
Tony,
Please, Brandon. I love it. Come right up,
it-
Brandon.
going back to the questions for the answer that I need to answer on slide 13,
Yep.
a couple slides. Don't feel like you need to answer all of these questions each week to cover all the elements, because there's no way you'll be able to cover 4 or 5 elements in 2-page paper or a few minute document or video that you are making. So if you cover 2 or 3 of the elements, that's fine. So don't feel like you have to cover all of them and not give quality information on any of them. So give quality on a couple.
Brandon, thank you so very much.
Maybe
Please,
spend
Clint.
time with something you think like your district's doing really well with, or maybe something you guys are really struggling with.
Hopes for the future. Hopes for the future. We'd love to hear that too. We're excited about the future. Brandon, thanks so very much. And I don't know if other instructors, if you've had the same, some of the videos are getting 7, 8, 9 minutes. They don't have to be that long. If they're shorter, we're fine with that too. I'm not marking you down any for longer ones. I love listening and I love participating, but I think kind of that's the tendency a little bit, Brandon, is to maybe go for everything and do what you're comfortable with. Brandon, thank you so much for speaking up. Remember your online etiquette. Join into the Zoom room, mute your mics. This time in the afternoon, we've got some dogs barking in the background or spouses making dinner, that kind of stuff. And communicate by unmuting or typing into the chat. We do love to see your video if you're there and if you're comfortable with that, but that's not a requirement. And our course overview this week, your weekly reading, your weekly discussion with your enhanced response, your weekly assignment on Future Ready Framework, and we're going to see you next Thursday in our class. Upcoming assignments. So in weeks 1 through 9, look for the different aspects of Future Ready Schools. You're doing great with that. You've wrapped your minds around that beautifully. Week 10, memo to the superintendent. Look at the requirements to interview your peers. Get started even now with that, because they're going to disappear after the end of May, at least in the building with you every day. And then week 11, the tech training. Your final project for this course is to plan that a technology training opportunity. That is very broad. It is as individualistic as every learner in this class. You can do whatever works for you. We want to make it work for you. We want to make it meaningful for you and the teachers in your school and district. The intent is very pragmatic. Create a training that will be useful to you and your colleagues in your building. And so we're very, very excited to see those tech training plans come together. And then Unit 12, a lesson plan modification, new lesson, not one from a previous course. We'd like to see that. I did forget, I'm sorry, running too far back or too fast back and forth here. Going back to tech training, the format you use for that assignment is up to you. That tech training could be a PowerPoint presentation, a HyperDoc, a flipped or screencast lesson, a movie or Word or Google document, but your grade's going to be based upon the response to those 7 questions or elements. Take a look at those in week 11, would you please? Any questions there on upcoming assignments? We want to be upfront with you. Please, someone's out there, speak up.
I don't have a question about the upcoming assignments, but about grades.
Yep.
I submitted some things, but apparently I did it wrong. I don't know how to do everything. So it says late, and then I submitted it on time, but it was late because I didn't do it right or something. So I got a video on how to do it right, and then I resubmitted it, and I noticed I was marked down a little bit. Is that how it is? Like,
You work with
So-
your instructor. Please, Clint, go right
That
ahead.
was on the discussion, and I marked you down because you didn't get your initial post in by Sunday, and that was it.
okay, I guess it
Everything
was,
else was
I
great.
thought it was the site, the Google site thing.
Um,
But I didn't have the right link, so I don't know, maybe I didn't do it right. I'm not taking these classes in order, so I didn't take the 50-10 class.
that's fine.
I don't know what that class is about, so maybe I should have, but I'm like, I'm lost.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I'll take a look at it and see if I made a mistake or something. But normally with these courses, it's did you do it or did you not? And if you did it, is it 80% good enough or not? So you've got to have everything done to get credit for the class, and that threshold is 80%. So as long as you're above that, you're good to go.
Clint and Tony, there was an issue too with Google's changed. If you're using Google Sites, Google's changed how they do their sharing on sites. If you want me to, I can share really quick.
I would love that. I would
Okay.
love that. I'm a big.
It took
site
me by
fan.
surprise a couple of weeks ago, and
Give me
I
just a
saw it
second. Let
an
me stop
issue.
sharing here. Thank you so much for
Yeah, absolutely.
speaking up.
You guys see my screen okay?
Beautifully. Here it comes.
And this is a quick advertisement as well for GG Utah. Come join us. Anyways, once you publish your site, folks, it's not going to automatically allow like viewers outside of your district or your domain. So you do need to go back in or change it really quickly, which all you have to do is go to your share with others right here, the little person with the plus sign, go down to links vary, change it, and then change your published site from your LEA or your domain to the public site. That way, the published version, we as teachers can see as you update it and you add things to it. If you want to, you can also add us as an editor or a viewer up here as well.
Wow.
But there were just a few people in my class that had a hard time with that, and that's looking through it. That was the solve there.
Matt, I'm sorry you went so fast. Could you go back 1 second? I just have one question.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm learning. So friends, this is a two-way street. We are lifelong learners. Click on the little gentleman with the head, the plus.
Yep, right there.
Yep, perfect. And then will you go down to links change? Yep, one more time. And then draft restricted. What does that mean for you?
So that means as you're editing, you're the only person, like it's restricted to that link. That link is restricted to whoever's been asked to be an editor.
Okay.
So if I put this as anyone with a link, it'd be like putting a Google Doc out there where everyone could type on it.
Right. Okay, I'm with you.
But it'd be a Google site, and that just terrifies me a little bit. So in this case, the published site would be the actual website.
To let
anybody can
let them connect. Perfect. Just thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you.
And do not have any nightmares tonight. I will keep it restricted. All right. Great questions. Thank you so very much. And thank you so much, very much, everyone, for participating and engaging. I love it. Shameless plug. Need a conference to attend that'll fill your ETEP requirement? Come July 7th to Cedar City, Utah, here to SUU. We're going to be having our 50-20 class that night, one floor below us here. I think all of our instructors are going to be here. All that can be here will be here. If you come to that live session with us, I've got a boatload of SUU t-shirts up here, all different shapes and sizes. I don't know if I have them double extra long for you, Matt. I apologize, but we'll get one as big as as tall as we can for you. And we just would love to have you here down to Rural Schools if you'd love to come. We'd love to see you face to face. PCBL, Tech in the Classroom, a new course at UEN. Clint, Matt, was this one of the slides that you put in? You're sure welcome to talk about that if you'd like.
Yeah, it was my slide. Clint proposed that I share this today. Love it. You know, the last week of school is obviously the time where you're like, I want to do some more PD. But we opened up this course yesterday at UEN, and I announced it via a few channels today. The course, if you're interested in what we talked about or what you're going to see in the discussions and the assignments this week about personalized learning, competency-based learning, or if you're just kind of interested in that anyways, and kind of the history in the state of Utah, this class walks you through that. It's a 6-unit course. It's completely self-paced. I'm the teacher, and I'll be grading those different things. And it's also in a choice-based model. So as you go through, you'll have some decisions to make through mastery paths as you go through the course. The first 3 units go through a PCBL in the state of Utah. So you'll learn about support for graduate, PCBL framework. And then in the back 3, you'll learn about different technologies and how they can kind of help you to build out PCBL in your classroom. So if you're interested, the link's there. I'll also put it in the chat here just shortly. And it was a kind of a labor of love course. I've been working on it since I got hired at UEN, and I'm very happy to have it out there. So if you're interested, feel free to take it. You can join it now, and you don't have to finish until December 31st, which is kind of nice as well.
Thank you,
thanks.
Matt. And Carol, we didn't mean to ignore you. Davis School District R&R Conference, June 22nd and 23rd. It should be fun to be up there to connect with Carol and all our Davis friends. So please consider that, would you? And then finally, ta-da, thank you. Hope it was been better than a kick in the pants today. And we're sure glad to have you here in our class today. We'll see you next week at 4. I can't remember who's leading next week.
That would be me, Tony.
Yay! We'll have Matt next week. Any last questions, concerns before Clint shuts the recording off? Please reach out to your instructor if you have questions, concerns. We're here for you all week long. See you next week. Thank you, everyone. Ciao, ciao.
Jan, I was just
Present.
yeah.
Any other things we want to talk about? Please go ahead.
Let me stop the record. Stop the